If your mother's human, she most likely has a shadow. And through her shadow self, your mother wound is born. If left unattended, your mother wound will perpetuate feelings of guilt, shame, and lack of courage, which will eventually result in behaviors that keep you locked away, unable to experience the freedom of becoming your true self. Hey there, I'm Kayla, and this is my series I call Movies with a Message, where we use movies to shine a light on what's going on inside our internal world. So I was watching Tangled, and something told me there's more to this movie than what meets the eye. And the more I watched it, the more it became clear to me that this movie is about healing your mother wound, and that it reveals to us that we must break free from this mother wound in order to experience true freedom. So the information that we get at the very beginning of Tangled is important. Rapunzel's mother, the queen, almost died giving birth to Rapunzel. The queen, being faced with her own mortality, is much more likely to develop a shadow side of her that is obsessed with youth and maybe even be afraid that the world isn't safe. If your mother's human, she has a shadow self, which is the part of ourselves that acts unconsciously, meaning that whether your mother is aware of it or not, she will occasionally act out of this shadow self. Since she may be the very first relationship that you have in your life, it's easy for you to internalize the parts of her that are wounded. And this is why I believe you can have a mother wound regardless of gender. The Queen's shadow is basically personified in Mother Gothel, the old woman who locks Rapunzel away in a tower so that she cannot experience the real world. There are a few different ideologies about the mother wound and how it manifests. I think the one that explains it best is the one explained by Bethany Webster. I've linked her resources in the description box below if you'd like to dig deeper into her content. But Bethany describes the mother wound as the pain rooted in our relationship with our mothers that passes down from generation to generation in patriarchal cultures. And the mother wound can manifest within you as not being your full self because you don't want to threaten others.
All I was gonna say, Mother, is that I know what I want for my birthday now.
A high tolerance for poor treatment from others.
I see a strong, confident, beautiful young lady. Oh, look, you're here too.
Emotional caretaking or codependent behavior.
Oh, great. Now I'm the bad guy.
Self-sabotaging when you're close to breakthrough.
I can't believe I did this. I can't believe I did this! Mother would be so furious.
Being too rigid and dominating, and perfectionism and control issues. Feeling like you have to control everything to be okay. That kind of hits home. Basically, all behaviors that keep us from being and experiencing our true selves. Bethany Webster explains that the mother wound exists on 4 different levels: the personal, the cultural, the spiritual, and the planetary. And if you watch closely, Tangled touches on all 4. After Mother Gothel kidnaps Rapunzel, she teaches her that she can't go to the outside world because it's full of dangerous, selfish people. Even though she had a flower that could cure disease and used it for her own selfish motives, and on top of it stole a child for that same benefit. The projection, if you were wondering what shadow projection is, that is. Through these interactions with Rapunzel is where we can see where Gothel is wounded. This is where the cultural mother wound comes into play. The cultural mother wound is the cultural atmosphere of patriarchy. Many of us have internalized this belief through patriarchy that our worth lies in our beauty and our youth. As we age, we constantly fear running out of time and not aging gracefully. And Gothel represents that wounded part of us that's passed down from generation to generation and perpetuated by the societies we live in. As Rapunzel ages, she stays in the tower, nurturing the shadow of her mother, fearing that the only thing outside of what she knows is danger. Rapunzel is real comfortable in her tower, and day in and day out she stays put while Mother Gothel pops in and out at will. And we can see that Rapunzel does adapt to the belief that the outside world is nothing but danger.
Yeah, I don't think so. I like it in here, and so do you.
But the problem with this belief is that it's an inherited belief from Mother Gothel. Because Rapunzel has never been outside of the tower to experience whether the world is safe or not, or whether she has the capability to handle it. This is where the personal mother wound comes into play. The personal mother wound involves painful patterns, beliefs, and dynamics that start with our mothers and cause us to unconsciously limit or sabotage ourselves. But even with this inherited belief lingering in the back of Rapunzel's mind, she still longs to experience more. That's because comfort only lasts so long. At some point, we all seek out change. In Rapunzel's case, she wants to see the floating lights that are released on her birthday each year, but she wants to see them in person. But to do that, she needs to leave the tower. And she thinks the only way is to have Gothel take her. When Gothel says no, Rapunzel stuffs her desires and decides she's going to wait until next year. Until she meets Flynn Rider. Flynn sneaking into her tower helps Rapunzel prove to herself that she is capable of facing her inherited fears when she's armed with the right tools, of course. Her encounter with Flynn also gives her a taste of her personal power in other ways. Rapunzel's desire to leave is reignited, and when that happens, Gothel's reaction makes it very clear that Rapunzel will never get what she wants by staying loyal to her mother's shadow.
Enough of the lights, Rapunzel! You are not leaving this tower! Ever!
As Bethany Webster says, many of us confuse being loyal to our mothers with being loyal to their wounds, and thus complicit in our own oppression. Rapunzel connecting to Flynn Rider helps her reconnect with the part of her that's free. The rebel, the outlaw, the one who doesn't follow the rules. And he needs her as much as she needs him, even if he doesn't know it yet. It's the beginning of her union with the self, and subsequently connects her with life itself. The planetary mother wound manifests as our disconnection from nature and the planet that gives us life. A lot of people find that when they reconnect with lost parts of themselves, they also find themselves more connected to nature. I know I did. Rapunzel escapes her tower, and the feelings of guilt, shame, and self-sabotage surface immediately. Which is realistic because that typically happens when your mother wound has been left unattended for a certain period of time. In most of our cases, our whole lives. The cost of not healing the mother wound is way more expensive than you may think. Stay tuned for part 2, where we talk about the spiritual mother wound as well as the consequences of not healing the mother wound and the benefits of doing the work. I'll see you then, and as always, I'm sending love and healing your way. Bye. Can you lay down, please? Cairo.